Well, welcome to Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. I'm so happy you're joining us today. Have we got a treat for you? We've got the Burnt Hills Melody Makers on our show today, and what a band that is. You are really going to enjoy some of their great music. I think they're going to kick it off with In the Mood, and that will put you in the mood to be happy all day long. Absolutely. So anyway, we have a great lineup today. We're going to be talking with Ed Kosher from the Schenectady City Council. He's the president. They're coming up with a great idea for getting input from our citizenry. Is that the right thing?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we're going to be talking with two representatives from the Confetti Stage and finding out about private fears in public places. Interesting title. And then we're going to be talking about paranormal research. And these gentlemen, they're both authors and they're into the research, and one is an intuitive. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we'll be wrapping it up with the Burnt Hills Melody Makers. Now for our breaks today, I went back into my archives and I found a tour that I did of the post-service plant manager. They serve, I don't know how many counties, amazing, and we're going to be showing that for our breaks today. And you will be amazed when you see how they sort mail and how quickly they can do it. I think they do 300 million pieces a day, I think, something, a big number, big number. But you don't do that.
No, I don't.
You don't do any sorting.
No sorting.
I have Ed Kosher with me. He is the president of the city council, and you've come up with a plan to get people to sit down with you, right?
Absolutely, and
just like this, without coffee.
Something we've been talking about, for a couple of years, and we're finally going to kind of bring it starting February 11th. We're going to partner with the Schenectady Green Market, which of course is a favorite of all of us.
We all love that.
Community. And we just thought of a way of having coffee with the council. We're going to have a little table set up there. We're going to have coffee from a local vendor, and we're going to have our city council members there and staff of City Hall to just
that's a big group,
and talk to our constituents.
Yeah,
we're not going to assign any council members that this is your Sunday and this is your Sunday.
They show up when they can.
Whichever the 7 of us are available for that particular weekend.
And I bet Lisa's there every time because she's here all the time.
She's always there all the time. And it was Lisa and myself that actually started talking about this last year. And we're just so busy, we just never got the opportunity to really put this thing together. But we feel it's just something that the city is lacking. We get several phone calls at our homes all the time. Talking about snow removal and code violations and potholes.
And those potholes. I was just going to say potholes.
Which are already out there, unfortunately. But we just thought it'd be a nice opportunity for us to get to know our constituents a little bit better, and for them to come and talk with us one-on-one, and again, enjoy a cup of coffee with us, and of course the surroundings of the Green Market.
Well, and the other thing is they can come to a city council meeting and they do privilege of the floor.
Yes.
But that's only a specific amount of time, because you can't have somebody rambling, excuse me, I don't mean the word rambling, but you know what I mean, somebody, because sometimes you can't get your words out, so they keep paraphrasing and they go on and on and on. So you have to cut them to a certain amount of time.
Yes, and of course we can't respond to them either.
And you can't respond to them.
Yes.
You have to keep your mouth shut and not say anything.
Yes.
So, and then they get mad. How come you're not responding to me?
Right.
Answer me that, and you're just like trying to be quiet.
Yep.
But this gives you an opportunity to respond to what they, and have a dialogue.
And I think it's wonderful. You know what? And instead of us knocking on doors every 4 years, knocking and asking for their vote, let's work for our constituents when we're not running for election.
Yeah.
I think
but you do that, but I don't know if they really realize it.
Yes. We're in supermarkets and we're in grocery stores and everything else in our community, and you see people and they're almost, being honest, afraid to approach you.
Yeah.
Because of your stance in the community. And I said, look, we are as open as everybody here in this venue.
Absolutely. I mean, you're people that live in our community. You do, you go to the same schools, you go to the same markets, you drive the same roads, you have to shovel out. I mean, you're living what everybody else is living.
Yeah, and that's just it. And we want to make our residents here and our citizens available to us, to come to us. And again, we're talking about bringing different department heads with us on a monthly basis as well. We might have the code enforcement officer there. We might even have the mayor there. We might have the fire chief or police chief. But just to have those opportunities to speak with our folks and to talk about the different programs and events that we have going on in the city of Schenectady. You know, we recently came up with the homes program there with the rehab.
Yeah, the mayor
programs,
was really behind
and the mayor
that.
behind all that, and our homes initiative, the different events that we have going on, and those are the information that we have to get out to our constituents. How do they take advantage of those programs and opportunities that are out there that people just don't realize that are there? And again, I think
and
it's
you're
important
taking
to us.
care of the day-to-day business, and then you have something like what happened the other day, or you know, with the mudslide.
Yes.
I mean, now you have to kind of look at that now. I mean, it's like it's not, your life just doesn't go on smoothly, you know, one thing after the other. You never know.
And unfortunately, we're a small city, so I can just imagine what Buffalo and Syracuse and Rochester go through on probably a daily, if not a weekly basis as well. And certainly that's an unfortunate incident. I remember when I went down at the gas station.
Oh,
yeah,
I remember that.
And I think I was just on the city council back then, and Al Jasinski was our mayor.
Yeah, I remember him.
And it was just a very sad situation just to see those families and homes have to be torn down and demolished.
Yeah.
And thank God the injuries weren't anything major.
Yeah.
I mean, the young men that they had to get out of the
Extricate,
home.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you know, the prayers are with that entire family, and again, thank you for all the resources that the community are actually
And the people
giving
stand
to
behind
them.
it, yeah.
Absolutely, and the
Yeah.
outpouring of support for these individuals. and
So I
from the
mean, there's
city
a
as
lot
well.
of things to consider. We don't have a city manager. We've got a mayor and a city council. So it all falls on your
It
shoulders.
certainly does, and again, we come across everything. It all comes on our shoulders, and now we have our new public safety commissioner, Michael Idens.
Yeah, you replaced Bennett, right?
Yes, he replaced our deceased Wayne Bennett, and I had the privilege when I was on the county legislature to sit as a county legislator with, I still call him Judge Idens, because he was a
that's
county
right,
court judge, and you'd have to respect that position. But he was very instrumental in being hands-on at the scene itself, and he was there in many of the shots that you saw. And again, he's the mayor's right hand, if you would. He is right there. And again, the great relationship as we have as a city council with the mayor. I mean, we can call him and text him at any time. And this is something we had talked about. How do we get our message out there? How do we get to talk with our residents? Again, on a basis
You're
where
open, you're open,
we're
you're
open.
open.
Yes, and how can we help you?
Yeah.
Because we certainly want to help our residents. That's our priority.
And you need to know what are the issues that are affecting them, and maybe it's an issue that you can solve like that. And then there's another one that said, this is impossible, you know, we're going to have to really look into this. So you have the realm of easy to very difficult,
Right.
and everything in between.
But the good thing is we have those contacts, we
Yeah.
have those connections. Who do we call? You know, and I certainly, you talk about the potholes and code enforcement. I certainly urge folks to go on our Schenectady website, you know, cityofschenectady.com, and go to that. It's called Request Tracker. And right on that website, you can log in any complaint that you have with a pothole or code violations. Believe it or not, I put one on there on Sunday.
You did? You put one
Yes,
on? Oh my
yes.
gosh.
On State Street. I live over by the Blue Ribbon Diner there, and State Street, the one portion of State Street, almost all the way down, we have potholes. I can't believe how big they got, like overnight.
It's like running one of these obstacle
Yes.
courses. It's like,
Yes.
because I was driving and it's like whoop, whoop, no, whoop, and then you got to be looking out your
Oh, my goodness.
rear view mirror, your side mirror, this
Yes.
mirror. So I'm checking 3 mirrors before I make a.
But you know the wonderful thing is, believe it or not, they filled those potholes in the entire length of State Street from Route 7 all the way down the city line are all filled
They're
in.
done.
Now, did it because that closure was on email? I hope not. I hope everybody gets the same courtesy.
I bet
and
everybody
respect.
does get it, but it's
that's
probably
what we want to
they
bring
go.
out.
Well, we got
Absolutely.
50 complaints on this one. Let's
Right.
so
Let's
the one
prioritize them.
you prioritize them.
Yes,
So
yes,
anyway.
yes. But we're very excited about the Coffee with the Council. Like
Yeah.
I said, you know, to get to the Green Market there. Again, it's going to be every second Sunday.
And
of
where
the
will that
month.
be? I know that it's going to be wherever the Green Market is, but are you going to be in the atrium?
I don't know where it's going to have a
You don't know where.
You know, I'm sure it'll be in a nice
They'll
area.
find you.
Yeah, we'll be close by, and of course close to the coffee shop, so we can refill our coffees.
Absolutely.
But I didn't do it on Super Bowl Sunday, if you noticed, because the Sunday before.
I know, that's
is Super
coming up
Bowl,
the
so
4th,
That's
yeah.
like my sacred hobby besides Christmas.
Super Bowl party.
Yeah, so, but again, we're very excited
Yeah.
about doing that, and we hope folks come out and really work with us and just
I'm
come.
sure.
And again, we'll have all our different folks there from the city council.
And we will remind people, and this is only going to be on the second Sunday,
We're
is that
gonna-
correct?
Yes, but it'll be every second Sunday throughout
Right.
the entire calendar
And
year.
so I'm going to put that under my free events so that everybody everybody's aware of it
Oh,
when I
thank
send
you.
out my weekly reminders.
And we did a PSA with, you know, with Open Stage Media,
great?
so we're going to get those on there. And then, of course, we'll do a press release to the Gazette and hoping that gets out there, too. But, again, I think just the openness and the transparency of city government. How do we get
Doing a
along
good
with
job,
folks,
Ed.
right? And
Yeah.
well, it takes everybody, you
Yeah,
know
I
what I
know.
mean? And that's really what it is. It's not one individual. It's really the entire council and the mayor and his staff. And
Great.
I certainly that. But can I give a quick plug to the
Sure,
Senior
go-
Center?
Absolutely.
I know you've had them on there before.
Oh, they're over at the
We're
Hibernian,
at
right?
the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and you know what we've been doing? Absolutely wonderful. We have 250 members right now at the Ancient Order of Hibernians, right over on State Street. What is it? 1785 State
Yeah,
Street.
it's up towards the Blue
It's up
Ribbon
towards the Blue
Diner.
Ribbon again
Yeah.
as well, yeah. But 250 members signed up in just a 3-month period. And we've been averaging over 60 people for lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays only. We're open from
I'll have
10
to stop
from 10
over
to 2.
there.
Please do that, and because I am there quite often. I said we're talking about next year. I said, look, we might even throw in the open bar and be the only senior center with an open bar in the county.
You are too much. Maybe I'll stop over today. I don't know. We'll see if I have time. I will.
And actually, that's where I'm going from here.
Yeah,
But
okay,
they have
good.
great menus and great stuff. And again, there's no membership fee,
Yeah.
and that's the best part about
Good,
it.
good.
So, and again, I just want to congratulate you and thank you for what you've
Oh,
been doing.
listen,
for the
my
community.
pleasure.
We
It's
talked
been
about
fun,
over
yeah.
20 years, and we
Yeah.
gave you the patroon as a city council member, and I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember way back with Kathleen Delane when I was here back in the early 2000s.
We all have a history, don't we?
We do. And I still have my hair, which is good, so we're all doing good, and yours beautiful as ever. So. But this is wonderful stuff.
We're going to take a break, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to be showing a video from, I believe, January 31st, 2001, I think is the year.
Oh my goodness.
We did a tour of the post office where they sort millions of pieces of mail. It was an amazing thing. Now, this was taken a while back, but I can't believe that they've done much more to improve it because it was amazing. So take a look at this, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Confetti Stage. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Jen.
Ann.
Good.
Thank you
Always
very
good to
much.
see you.
Appreciate it.
Good. One heck of a place.
Yes, it is.
We went, I went through a tour and was impressed with it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the facility. What does it serve and how long you've been doing it? Tell me a little bit.
Well, I've been plant manager there since last May.
Okay.
But I've been with the Postal Service for 25 years and all in the Albany area. We process mail for the Glens Falls area and the Albany area. And on Saturdays, we actually bring in mail from Utica and Plattsburgh, where we can use our resources and there isn't that much mail volume on the weekends. So basically we process mail for every day for over 200 post offices.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, about 3 million pieces a day is our normal.
3 million pieces. Oh my goodness. Now, I guess when you look at, mailing a letter, something's got to happen with it. So I'm going to ask them. I know that they took a bit of a clip at the facility.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you what happens when I put this in the mail. And we're going to take a look.
Okay. Well, actually, this is our dock area. Mail's collected throughout the day at 200 post offices. It's brought into the dock. Then the clock actually starts ticking at that point, and we have a race to get the mail through the system because a lot of our mail has to be delivered overnight, so it has to be delivered the next day. This operation starts it. We take hampers of mail and put it on.
And here we are back again when we're going to be talking about private fears in public places. I've never heard of that play.
No,
Is
it's
it a new one?
It's semi-new. It was written in 2004. It's
Wait a
by Alan Ayckbourn, who's written about 80 plays. He's
really?
a very popular English playwright. He's written plays like The Norman Conquest and Absurd Person Singular, and this was actually turned into a French film in 2007.
Oh, really?
So I think it's.
I don't know how
made-
that got out of my
yeah.
radar. I wasn't familiar with that one.
Well, they say that Alan Ayckbourn is
Talking
the.
with John Nichols, the director.
Hi. They say that he's the second most produced English playwright since Shakespeare, actually.
Okay.
So.
Even Priestley?
Even Priestley, yes. Even Priestley.
Even Priestley.
Well, that's
And-
because he's written 70 and Priestley only about 5.
I
so.
know, that's true. So we're also speaking with Joe Plock. You are in the play as well.
I
You're an
am.
actor.
Yes, I play Ambrose. He is the bartender slash therapist for some of the characters.
Isn't
in
every
the show.
bartender a therapist?
That's kind of the point of this
Yeah.
character. But he also, because it's called Private Fears in Public Places, it's about 6 different people living out their lives and really kind of masking something that they're trying to hide from the world, and even Ambrose isn't immune from that, and you do get to see a little bit more of
reveal
what
himself,
makes him tick as well.
How long have you been acting, Joe?
That's a interesting question. Probably in Albany about 3 years.
Okay.
Overall since I was about 12. So
really, so it got in your blood, huh?
Yeah, the theater bug made me early on, and I just kind of ran with it.
Yeah, and I know, John, you've been involved with
Doing
theater for
since 4 years old or something before.
Yeah,
then,
maybe.
but,
Yeah. Your
So
mom probably got you started. She was in English lit.
No, I actually got her involved in theater. And
Oh, you
so
got
they
her
went-
involved?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
my
my
God.
parents weren't in theater until I did. So.
I'll be darned.
But because of them, I'm interested in plays about science. And
Oh,
stuff.
about science, that's true. So this is, it's going to be at the Albany Masonic.
It's at the Masonic Temple.
Okay, how easy is that to find?
That's very easy. You go to the Albany City Hall, and it's literally right behind it.
It's right behind it, right?
So I think it's easy enough, and you'll see all these signs. Don't park there during the day, but when it's
You can park at night.
Park at
Yeah.
night.
Not at
Yeah.
all. Okay, let's take a look, if we can, at the photos, and then maybe you can run through each character and tell us
Sure.
a little bit about it. Can you see okay, Joe?
Yep,
Yeah,
I
there we
can
are.
see him right there.
Okay, now what are we looking at? And I'll let you.
Okay, well, the top corner is me. That's Ambrose. Again, he's the bartender. To the, I believe, right of that is Charlotte, played by Colleen Lovett. She is a receptionist and also a home caregiver, and she has very interesting views.
She has stories to tell, I'm sure.
She's got stories to tell, yeah. Very interesting character, and Colleen does a fantastic job about that. The one below me, that is Dan, played by Steve Hennell. Dan is an ex-military man who is kind of in between things right now, and he's having a little bit of a tough time. He's definitely one of the regulars at the bar that Ambrose tends, and he and Ambrose
Is he
have
suffering of PTSD?
not
as
exactly.
such.
It's more.
We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, and I think
The
we lost
picture
the
again.
one before it was. That is Imogen, played by Marissa Reamer. She is again, a lot of people on the rocks at this point. She's kind of had a past, and she's kind of taking a little bit of a downtime right now and trying to assess her life and get back on her feet.
And
Now,
she's
you said on the rocks. This is kind of both ways?
No.
I didn't know what you meant.
No, not for her. Not for
Okay.
her.
She's the sister of Stuart, who we're about to see there,
Yes.
so we know that,
That's bright. Okay.
And okay, the next one, that is Nicola, played by Laura Darling. She's actually Dan's fiance, and she's trying to really start her life going and having a little bit of an issue with Dan being a non-starter.
Yeah.
And that definitely plays some very interesting dynamics. And then next to her, that is Stuart, who is Nicola's house agent, trying to get her real estate agent. Thank you. It's a British play that we've converted
They
into
call a
American.
house agent,
Yeah,
yeah.
house agent. And he's Imogen's brother, and they have a very interesting
So
brother-sister
you have a
dynamic.
kind of familiar.
And he's
very tangled web we weave.
Yeah, and he's the co-worker of Charlotte. So
Yes.
it's and part of this play is all about how people are interconnected, even though they don't know they're interconnected. Because I don't believe Ambrose has any scenes at all with Stuart, but
no,
they have
but,
this
we
connection.
have very similar connections. Yeah.
So your set must be pretty simple.
It's simple, but it's also complicated because what I like to say is that Alan Ayckbourn really understands that theater is theater and not some other medium. This is the play he wrote that's most like a film,
Yes.
in that he keeps cutting between. So there's actually 7 different locations in this one
really?
location.
I thought it was like all at a bar.
No,
Yeah.
there's
Nope.
7 different locations.
So we
and
got an
actually-
office and a living room and a kitchen. And
So you have the bar over here, and then you have
Yeah,
something going on over
Exactly,
here.
and there's
Okay,
actually
good.
57 scenes
And I
in this.
noticed
Yep.
one of the photographs there was kind of blank.
Oh
What
yes,
was
that's
that?
George Filio as Arthur. And
Can we take a look at the?
Yep,
there we are.
the bottom right
Because-
one, that's not left out. That's intentional.
We didn't
That's
make a mistake.
intentional.
We
No.
did not make a mistake.
We
No,
have-
George insists on that because Arthur is Ambrose's father, and he's an offstage character.
Yes.
Okay.
So you hear him all the way through, but you never
never
see his
see him.
shadow, but you never actually see him on stage.
Oh, did George go along with that?
George,
I
went-
didn't know.
oh yeah,
He
oh
liked
I
to be
know,
on the
yes,
stage.
yes, exactly.
No, this was.
No, I was surprised. George said to me, "No, I don't want to be shown." I'm going, "George, are you George?"
And he didn't want to be in
Yeah.
any of the publicity photos. He insisted that he have that blank photo.
And that other photo that you saw of Joe was from another play.
That's actually from A Tuna Christmas. We just finished off that one. There's no actual cowboy in this show.
No.
Well, that's okay. I like
the last one he had to play like 23 characters. He's just playing Ambrose in this. He's not
just one character.
Well, that must be tough, just doing one.
Yes.
So let's see. Now, when is this play going to be on? We need to let everybody know if they want to get their tickets.
February 9th through 11th and 16th through 18th.
That's what I have here.
Yep.
And you have Sunday matinees.
Sunday matinees at 2, yep.
Okay, so how do they get their tickets?
Well, they can get it online at our, which I have to
ConfettiStage.org.
Thank you, ConfettiStage.org. You can do that there, or you can call our box office.
Or
you can just show up.
And they're on Facebook, so you can get all the information there as well. So I guess I have to say break a leg, but that's always one of those things that we got to do that.
We're very proud of this play. I think.
Yeah,
it's going to be a great
that's
show.
good. And did you pick it?
Yes, no, I picked it. And it was
the director
one
usually
which,
picks it, so I figured.
Well, this was just one that I realized, this is a confetti stage play. I'm not sure what a confetti stage play is, but this is.
But this is it.
He was actually talking to me about this for probably 3 or 4 months before the audition process, and he was very excited and passionate about it. And I'm like, well, I have to read the script, so I begged him to give me his copy, and I read it in about one sitting. Put it down and was immediately in love with the script, and I knew exactly that I wanted to play Ambrose. So
when you did your first read through, you knew that this was going to be all the characters.
When all 6 of us sat down, or 7 of us sat down at the table, it was just one of the best table reads I've ever seen. It was just, I knew this was going to be a great show.
Yeah, great. So you know what? You as a viewer here can get a ticket and see it and find out what they're all excited about. This sounds like a really neat play. I like that. I like it now. Now it all makes sense.
Yes, hope to see you there.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. So break a leg, and we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go into the paranormal, find out what they're doing for research. That might be a play there. So stay tuned.
Is separated, and then that goes through a separate process. The flats and small parcels would be separated out of that, and they go into their own process. This film basically follows the path of the letter through our mail processing facility. We have many different mail flows when you start thinking about all the different types of mail that you receive.
Priority and all the rest.
Right, express, a lot of parcels, magazines. Then it goes through, this
Looks
is a singulator.
Like it's straightening them up
right,
there.
It's our singulator. It separates the letters and puts them into a path, going into more conveyors and then into another piece of equipment. It's
These
very
aren't being
sophisticated.
sorted yet,
Not
right?
yet, no. It's just really setting it up for processing at 4 different pieces of equipment. So it goes
What
through a
is all
conveyor
that?
system. It's a big conveyor system. It's actually pretty sophisticated. We call it Barney because it's purple. It goes down conveyors, and then during this process, it's actually taking the letters and putting them all in order with a stamp in the upper right-hand corner and the address facing up.
How does it do that?
It has cameras throughout and electronic eyes, and then it separates it into a number of different separations that we've identified for our processing. It also, during this process, takes a picture of every letter that goes through the system and puts an individual ID tag on the back of the envelope. So when you look at your envelopes, a lot of times you'll see a pink iridescent barcode on the back. Mm-hmm. That means that it's gone through one of our pieces of equipment that identifies that particular letter, and we can track it through the entire process.
Oh my heavens,
It's
I
pretty
can't
sophisticated.
believe that. That is so hard to believe.
Yes,
With 3 million pieces a day?
Right.
Well, here we are back again, and we're going to be talking about paranormal research. And they have actually a paranormal support group. We're going to find out exactly what that is. Right next to me, I have John Griffin II sitting next to me. He's an author. He's been on the show before talking about his research. And then I have Reginald over there, Glidden on the other side, and he is a author as well. And he's an intuitive consultant. I like that. Yeah. So what do you do as an intuitive consultant?
Basically, relay messages from people who have passed over to this side.
Okay, so you're a conduit. Sort of a conduit.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, where, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because there are people that are able to channel. Channel is the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
Channel,
Basically,
right?
when I go into a building, if there's a spirit there, I usually know, because they know when you're there. So if they have a message, they'll find you.
That's good. That's good, because we really need to find out what went on, you know?
Well, and sometimes they do have messages pertaining to, a lot of times, car, change the tire, get the brakes checked.
So it's mundane. It's not even like play, you know, this horse because you're going to win a lot of money.
Oh yeah, usually we don't get that.
You don't get that as well. Okay, John, so tell me about the Paranormal Research Support Group and exactly what is it? And I know that you have a hashtag that you're using as well, too.
Yeah, I mean, when we originally founded the Paranormal Group, You and I Research, I mean, right in the name, You and I. Yeah, it's meant to bring people together between paranormal teams as well as the general public. But we found that the general public, there's a lack of focus on the public themselves. We developed a system called the Paranormal Puzzle Approach, which
and
is
we
our
have
research.
that was the name of your book, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
good.
And actually, we're on the we're currently writing the second book right now. But then all of this, when we were doing all this research, more specifically, a piece of research we were doing, which we're actually creating an educational video on right now that's going to release soon, which is on the what we call the demonic frequency theory. And this led us to developing a group called the Congregation of Paranormal Revelations.
And we have a thing of that. I like the logo. I kind of like, yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of hidden messages within every single one. The main thing, though, and this stems from one of the toughest things that I ended up researching was my own life, going through the haunting that I went through, and how confined my life, or basically how secluded I was throughout my entire life. You felt like you were always in a dark place. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I would go to school, and at the time, and this was back in nursery school that it started, that I had my first paranormal experience, and I went to school and I would just describe them as disappearing people because I didn't know the term ghost, I didn't know paranormal, I didn't know any of that. And
so you had an experience but couldn't identify it.
Yeah, but I thought it was the coolest thing. I saw a disappearing person walk by. And oh, well, I wish I had that ability.
And everybody else is looking at you saying, what?
Exactly.
So now you have to either decide to keep your mouth shut or what?
And that was the difficult part. It ended up getting to the point that to me it was natural because I was, oh, okay, well, I saw this must be normal. You know, I mean, what am I going to know as a kid at the time? Come to find out it wasn't normal. And everybody brought it up, or, you know, they started talking about it.
I've heard this story before from people that have experienced things like that and said that they ended up not saying anything because people would think that there was something wrong with them, you know. And it's sort of like the movie The Sixth Sense is what you're describing, is that he sees dead people, you know, and do you see him all the time? You know, those are the questions. But people have, I've spoken with people that have had these kind of experiences.
But most of the time, they, including myself, we keep how this affects us and everything that's happened outside of here, we keep it, it builds up inside of us. You feel like you're alone in the world.
So that's why you're working at a support group to maybe, I know there's got a fly in here, that we get these stories and get these people together and perhaps gather more information.
Yeah, and on top of that, bring out the untapped potential that they have, because that even, what ended up happening was during my childhood is I ended up finding, or I became so secluded, or, you know, so confined away from society that I would get worried every time I went home. So homework was, you know, from school was not, was not there. I was not thinking about that. I was thinking about what was going to happen.
You had other
that
things
night.
that were more immediate.
Yeah, well, that I was frightened of. But how am I going to go out and talk about it? Who's going to listen? You know, that's where this battle became, you know, I ended up going into depression, all this anxiety, and it just kept on snowballing from there. And that's when we came up with the hashtag, Cast Your Light.
Yeah, Cast Your Light. I like that. It's got a nice. And so, are you going to have like meetings? Is Reggie, are you going to be there at these meetings?
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually, right now we meet Tuesdays at my apartment. I stay with one of my lady friends and help her out, and we just use the apartment. You know, it's a very easy setting, you know, where they can talk about things.
It's relaxed.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the reason for this interview and this is to kind of reach out to people to let them know that there is a source of, if they've been experiencing things that are out of the norm, we'll put it that way, that there is an avenue that they can go down to kind of talk to other people that have had that same experience.
Yeah, and basically letting them know that you know, they're not alone. You know, more people have had it that haven't talked about it because of fear of what they're going to be called or thought. Oh, geez, they're crazy. Stay away from them. But
well, it doesn't mean. It just means that they've had an experience that's. I mean, I've had the deja vu. I've been here before. I know I've been here before, and it's frightening almost when you feel it. And I remember looking out a window once and saying, I've done all this before. I know I have, and I can tell you that this is going to happen, and it did happen. It's like. It's a very strange feeling, and I mean, that was only a minor thing, but imagine like what you went through, John, that was frightening as a kid, because you don't know. I mean, as an adult, you might be able to rationalize or say, oh, well, you know, maybe it was, what is it from the Christmas story, you know, it's something I ate last night that gave me, I forgot the line, but you know what I'm talking about. So how can they get in touch with you to get involved with this?
Well, they can always, my phone number is on the website, www.uniresearch.com.
And they can, Twitter, you're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We have multiple groups on Facebook, UNI Research, Paranormal Puzzle, and the Congregation Paranormal Revelations. They can also use the hashtag #CastYourLight, in which case when we bring up the hashtag, we can see, and we want people to put their stories with it.
Okay.
It's another way that we can get into contact with them.
That's on Twitter?
That's where? Twitter, Facebook.
Okay,
we can even Google it.
Okay, good.
So, and as Reggie said, we want people to know that they're not alone, and we're trying to make this a full-on effort where we're looking to travel around. We have people all the way out in California who are waiting to meet with us. Yeah. And the people who have met with us, we have so many people that have said how grateful they are and how much better they feel.
Well, because now there's an outlet. It's not you're not alone. You're not at home thinking, God, is there something wrong with me? What's going on? Now you have an avenue to talk about it and say, oh yeah, you had the same experience. What was it like and how did you deal with it? Perfect. Wonderful.
Well, and there's one other thing I wanted to add to that. Is I've also been focusing on doing this and the research for one other reason. It's because I don't want people who are growing up to experience the same childhood that I had.
And maybe you're reaching out to parents who the child has expressed it and not is afraid to say anything, so now the parent goes, okay, this is an avenue that we can check out.
All the time.
Yeah, this is wonderful what you're doing. I think it really is, because it's an untapped area, and you're working on it. You're going to write another book about that, I'm sure, these stories. And Reggie, it's always good to see you. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, take a look at that. Oh, and if you want to contact them, be sure to contact them. And if you go to my webpage, the phone number is on that as well. And I will be putting it on my Facebook page as well, so if you don't mind, and then we'll get the word out that way. We're taking a quick break. The band's going to be on, and they're going to be starting out, and I'll be doing a quick interview before they play In the Mood. Stay tuned. Okay, Marie.
Mail system, transported system that goes throughout the facility, and mail is staged for processing at different operations. The labels on the trays tell the system what that mail is and what process it should go through. So supervisors put schedules in and call trays of mail down for particular operations. This room has delivery barcode sorters in it. After it leaves the section where mail is faced and canceled, it goes into this room where it can go through a number of different processes. These delivery barcode sorters process mail. You can see it coming over the conveyor, bringing it out to the blue room, we call it, for obvious reasons. And the delivery barcode sorters are out there. This mail will then be processed either to leave the facility and go to other facilities across the country, or to be further processed on our midnight shift for delivery within the Albany or Glens Falls area. These machines also process mail at the rate of about 35,000 pieces per hour. They can also take pictures of each individual letter and put an ID tag on the back of the mail piece so that we can track it. We use the tracking a lot for our own internal testing to see how our processes work. We're also tested by Price Waterhouse to see what the quality of our delivery
Quality
is.
assurance.
Right, and right now we have consistently achieved a 96% overnight delivery within the Albany and Glens Falls area. And that's over a several year period, actually. So we meet our service commitments. These are delivery barcode sorters. We have quite a few of them in this big room.
Now, I understand that the zip codes are read by machine.
Yes. In fact, the machines actually read the whole address. They can even read handwritten addresses now, and they will match the address against a directory, and we'll spray barcodes on many of our mail pieces that don't already have either zip code information, or if they have zip code information, we may need a little bit more information in order to put those letters in delivery point sequence for delivery for the carrier for the next day. In most of the big post offices in the area, 70% of the mail that the carriers deliver, the letter mail that they deliver, is already in delivery point sequence when they report for work in the morning.
And that's meaning those other 4-digit zip code, is that right?
Right.
That's delivery sequence.
Yep, and there's actually 2 additional digits that we put on from our own directories to keep that mail in order. So this is the rest of activity going on at the plant. We have the tray management system, but we also have a lot of other mail that's transported using the tow motors that you saw. This is again an optical, this is actually our flat sorting machine. Those
The flat pieces that
flat pieces.
like
will go
catalogs,
through.
things like
That's
that.
a very new piece of equipment that's come out in the Postal Service, and it's improved productivity 3 times over what we were able to do in the past.
How many people do you employ at this facility?
There's about 900, and that includes maintenance employees, motor vehicle operators, mail handlers, and clerks.
And that's over 3 shifts.
Over 3 shifts, 7 days a week.
You
every
operate
day
on
of the
Sunday
year.
also,
Yes,
even
we
though
do.
we see that they don't pick up on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Well, here we are on the set with the Burnt Hills Melody Makers, and look at this band. Oh my God, I don't know if you can get a shot of them. They are amazing. We heard them before the show. We heard them practicing, and they are an amazing band. You are going to be thrilled. We have 2 vocalists with us, Rick DiDonato, and we have Tracy Teshka with us as well, that will be performing with us, singing. And right next to me I have Jeff Trowbridge, and he is going to tell us about the band.
Well, we were practicing because we really needed the practice. Yeah. But the Burnt Hills Melody Makers is a community group. We're based in Burnt Hills, but the musicians here come from all over the place. We've got Albany, Schenectady, Troy, Saratoga, Bethlehem, Bolton Landing. People come in from all over the place. Community group, we're doing it for fun, but I think you'll see that there's some real professional musicians here too.
Well, I heard your music, and you sound like any band, Harry James or any of those. I mean, you know, you have that sound that's solid.
Harry James, we'll take that, yeah. Glenn
You'll
Miller
take
would
it,
be good.
Glenn
Yeah. You know, the kind of music is really infectious. It's been around for so long. It's kind of amazing how long it's persisted, given that it only existed for a short time, really, back in the 40s, in this form, at least.
You're
But
absolutely right.
I don't think Harry ever would have met Sally if it wasn't for Harry Connick Jr., you know, singing. It had to be you.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah,
you.
Michael Bublé still sings Sway, and it still works. It shows up in current shows, too.
We don't see a lot of bands, per se, like the Duke Ellington Band and a number of those bands. Of course, he played the piano, so it was like a little bit tough here.
You know what, though? The Glenn Miller Orchestra still tours. Those guys are still around. And I promise you, every gig they've played for the last 70 years, they've had to play this song we're going to play now, In the Mood.
In the Mood. We love In the Mood.
That's their
We're
national
going to have
anthem.
them play, and they're going to go play about 3 or 4 songs, and I'm going to pop back in again and, you know, make sure that they're still all awake here and everything, right? If you aren't awake, it'll be a miracle, but we are all going to get in the mood, right?
Yeah, all
Thanks,
right.
Jeff.
Sounds good. Thanks.
good. You are all so great. And not only that, I mean, you are just sounding like you could be on any stage.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No,
That's
really
nice
good.
of you to say.
I mean this, really,
You know,
really good.
We do this for fun, but a lot of these guys are professional musicians that come in and do a phenomenal job because we love doing it. You know?
No, it's
amazing.
great. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, first of all, just tell who's coming up next week, because I'm not going to take another break. I want you just to keep playing as much as you can. So next week on the show, I have Business and Diversity, which is really interesting. She's a wonderful presenter. We have Derek Horton and the J Street Band coming on next week. We have the Electric City Chorus. They're going to be talking about their Valentines, and we're going to talk about the Schenectady City Mission. Where's your next gig, or do you have a lineup yet?
We actually, I'm not sure.
Well, how's that for a covering?
Quickly, check out our Facebook, though, Burnt Hills Melody Makers on
Right.
Facebook, and you'll see where we're playing next. A lot of them are free, and we have a good time doing it.
Yeah, well, you guys are great. You really are great. I hear a lot of bands, and you guys are great. Really, I mean that, truly. So we're going to let you take out the rest of the show, and I'm not going to interrupt you again.
Sounds good.
Take it away.
We're going to do Mac the Knife next. Rick, I wish you could get to see him in a full show.
He's great.
Because he has more costumes than you could ever imagine. He's Frank Sinatra. Sometimes he's Andy Williams. Sometimes, you know.
A little Dean Martin.
Right. Right now he's going to be Bobby Darin.
Bobby Darin, you're going to do Mac the Knife, really. And then I think Tracy's going to be doing a number as well.
Yes,
so
she
we're
is.
going to take you out then.
All
Thank
right,
you.
sounds good.
He's back.
And it shows that Arctic, please.